Hi, we're Group 4, and for our environmental leadership project, we volunteered at the Amherst Public Shade Tree Committee, doing tree plantings and maintenance in multiple locations around the town of Amherst. We were lucky enough to volunteer at 2 of their service days this year. In October, we planted around 20 young trees with volunteers and a couple other UMass students at East Pleasant Street, just on the eastern edge of campus. In November, due to colder temperatures, we had a work party where we checked up and maintained trees planted in previous years at Long Meadow Drive, a more residential street in South Amherst.
We collaborated with the Amherst Public Shade Tree Committee to preserve, protect, and to promote shade trees in the Amherst area. The committee removes dead trees and dying trees and replaces them with young and stronger native trees to the area. Shade and street trees not only provide shade, but also beauty, stable soil, fresh air, and habitats for native wildlife. We planted young trees along East Pleasant Street, located by Orchard Hill and the Amherst Water Tank. With the rest of the Amherst Shade Tree Committee. We prepped tree roots for optimal growth, winterized several of the young trees for the coming months, and discussed tree maintenance with the committee. The Shade Tree Committee also works with local government in the creating of community policy and planning to make sure that trees are incorporated into all aspects of the bettering of the Amherst area. We decided to work with the Shade Tree Committee because we wanted to keep our outreach local. That way we were able to better the areas around us for the UMass Amherst community and Amherst residents. Shruti, one of our group members, had worked with them previously and really enjoyed the experience, so we decided to continue with that outreach. In addition to the service days, we also went to one of the Amherst Public Shade Tree Committee's monthly Zoom meetings. These usually happen more often in the winter months, as you're not able to go outside and plant and maintain the trees. It was great to see how rigorous the committee was with both planning and preparation for the coming months, as well as drafting legislation for coming elections and voting.
Now for some history and context on why we took part in this. First off, the Amherst Public Shade Tree Committee has been around just under a decade. The town has had a much longer history with maintaining their trees. The Amherst Ornamental Tree Association was founded in 1857, and they helped plant 200 trees after a massive hurricane hit in the late 30s that knocked down 1,500 public shade trees. During the 60s, the committee, along with many other citizens, helped improve the appearance of streets in Amherst by planting flowering crab apple trees. Taking part in this committee allowed us to join a community with great history and pride in keeping a diverse amount of trees in this area. In general, though, tree conservation hasn't only been a concern in Amherst, and there's a ton of reason to take part on a global scale. Trees, of course, help with climate change by absorbing carbon dioxide and producing oxygen. Unfortunately, the global tree count is down 46% since the beginning of human civilization. Humans cutting down, on average, 15 billion trees a year. And at that rate, you could cut down every tree in Australia in just 5 years.
Civic engagement entails engaging activities that address issues from the public, where people work with other citizens to foster change in a community. Civic engagement is important because it brings together members of a community and uses everyone's strengths to make a difference. It gives citizens the opportunity to have a say in priorities and policies while supporting the growth of their community. It's especially important for youth to take part in civic engagement activities, as according to the 2006 National Civic and Political Health Survey, 7% of 15 to 25-year-old Americans participated in 10 or more community engagement or political activities in that year. And it was shown that these students were had a better mindset and were just more engaged in their own community.
Is environmental leadership important? For us, that was a clear yes. Environmental leadership is crucial to the longevity of the planet, regardless of the scale of the leadership. Those who possess the internal belief that we need to take care of our environment, as well as the external drive and actually respond to its needs, are those who further the climate movement and preserve the precious nature around us. Through the environmental leadership experience, we have learned not only the importance of local tree populations, but also how essential local environmental work is. Without this organization and its many volunteers, the Amherst area would not be nearly as rich and beautiful in good soil and healthy roadside trees as it is today. After these volunteering experiences, we have a newfound appreciation for the time and effort it takes to plant trees and maintain the healthy tree population in Amherst.
In conclusion, our work with the Amherst Tree Shade Committee has helped us to feel as we were making a direct impact on our neighbors and the greater community. Helping on a smaller, more local scale is important because it's the small actions that help contribute to a larger effort. Planting trees was new to me and several other team members, so we didn't really know what to expect when working with the committee. We learned not only how to plant trees, but the amount of teamwork required to make Amherst a little bit greener. Volunteering was a very rewarding experience because now we can see trees planted around campus and other neighborhoods, knowing we helped put them there. We need more people taking on leadership roles and taking on volunteer projects like this because it is leadership that helps drive the smaller contributions to a cleaner Earth. Our Earth could use a few more volunteers to help drive off the force of climate change and keep our own communities around us nice and clean. We'd like to thank the Amherst Public Tree Shade Committee for their amazing work in our community. All right.